Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. I apologize. I was muted and I was trying to talk to you all. But good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Mitzi Holland, and I'm the director of the Kentucky Advising Academy. And we're here to talk to you today about our post-secondary initiative mini grant. And as we work through our webinar today, if at any time you have any questions, just feel free to drop those questions into the chat. We do have people monitoring the chat, and we will be sure to get answers to your questions as we are working through. As I mentioned, I'm with the Kentucky Advising Academy, and the Kentucky Advising Academy is an initiative of the Council on Post-Secondary Education, and we work to support P20 educators in providing students equitable access to post-secondary advising and opportunities. Our goal is for students to have a successful transition from high school to their desired post-secondary path and ultimately their career. And like I mentioned, we are part of the Council on Post-Secondary Education, and the Council on Post-Secondary Education has a lofty goal that we refer to as 60 by 30, and that goal is to raise the percentage of Kentuckians with a high-quality post-secondary degree or certificate to 60% by the year 2030. And we know that achieving this goal is critical to accelerated job creation, growth in the economy, and expanding our state's tax base through the contribution of more skilled, productive workforce. And we are serious about this goal, and our entire strategic agenda is focused on achieving it. And in fact, one section is devoted solely to transitions, and specifically the work that we do. We are working to expand access to high quality early post-secondary opportunities and partner with public K-12 schools and post-secondary institutions to provide outreach to students to help them prepare and plan for college. So let's get to why we are all here today. We are here to learn about this grant opportunity. And as you know, CPE is providing reimbursement grants to Kentucky K-12 public schools, area technology centers, or CTCs up to $5,000 per school for post-secondary initiatives to support workforce readiness and post-secondary advising. And ultimately, our goal here is to increase access to post-secondary opportunities for our Kentucky students. So, in completing the requirements of the proposal, applicants must identify a new or expanded event or experience that prioritizes at least one of the following criteria: college and career exploration, enrolling in and preparing for college, early post-secondary opportunities, or essential skills necessary for college and career. So as you are working through your proposal, applicants need to identify a collaborative partner. And when we talk about collaborative partners may include feeder schools, so a middle school going into a high school, post-secondary institution, a business or industry partner, or a community-based organization partner. Now, keep in mind that these are examples of collaborative partners. This is not, your partner does not have to be one of these, but you do need to identify a collaborative partner that can support your work. And as you work through the grant process, you must not only identify the partner, but also clearly explain how that partner will support your initiative. In addition, applicants must identify their district as the fiscal agent. Now, while this opportunity is open to individual schools, the district still has to be identified as the fiscal agent. All activities must be completed by May 31st of 2024, and all invoices for reimbursement must be submitted by June 7th, 2024. One other thing to note is that your student body that you are utilizing this grant for should be enrolled in the grant during the school year 23-24. So these funds are for this current school year. As you work through your grant and you near the end, when your work is completed, you will submit a final report. And that final report will include the number and demographics of the students that you served. You will conduct a pre and post survey, and so those results will be included in that report, and that will measure the initiative impact. And you will report on your identified deliverables and outcomes. In addition, we would like a video summary of the event or experience upon completion. Here are some sample ideas that one might consider when you are planning your event or experience. And these are, again, just ideas. This is not an all-inclusive list. It's just to get you thinking about some of the things that would be applicable. College visits, college fairs, industry day or immersion tours, family information events, career pathway camps for feeder schools, job shadowing days, a multi-day post-secondary tour, or the creation of additional pathway opportunities. For your grant to be considered for approval, we want you to make sure that it fits within your school's plan for advancing its post-secondary advising program, ultimately creating access to post-secondary opportunities for students. Remember, your proposals must meet the allowable expenses and all grant requirements. Now, when we talk about allowable expenses or expenditures, they can include student transportation, personnel compensation, equipment usage and consumable supplies, food and or snacks, reusable materials and supplies, contractual costs, and facilities rental. More detailed information about these expenditures is included in the entire grant package that is available on the CPE website, and we will talk more detail about that on the next slide. As I mentioned, where you can find more detailed information about our resources is on the CPE website, and that is cpe.ky.gov/news, grants, and then index. That link is in this proposal, and this is recorded and will be archived, but all of that information, again, is on the CPE website. When you finish the grant, when you finish your grant application, you will email your proposal, the application, and the budget form as an attachment to me. Now, the budget form and the application are available on the CPE website, and they can be downloaded, and then you just fill those in and email them as an attachment along with your proposal. My email is there on the screen. It is mitzi.holland@ky.gov. And when you send in your proposals, you need to be sure to include the subject KAA mini grant proposal submission. That is critical when you submit that, so that any application's not missed. All pieces must be submitted, the application, the proposal, and the budget, in order to be considered for this grant award. I will also point out that only one submission from each school will be accepted, and proposals must be received by 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 20th, 2023. Okay, so what questions do we have about this grant process? Ladies, I know you've been monitoring the chat. Are you able to have answered the questions as people have typed them, or are there some still that we need to address?
So Mitzi, we have been able to keep up with them. We just had one come in that said, could a high school and adjoining tech center apply?
Yes, they, as a separate school, correct? They could have separate applications. So the tech school and the high school would be eligible to apply.
Or if they're asking a question, could the high school and the joining tech center be the collaborative partner? That works in that situation as well.
That is correct, because a collaborative partner can be a feeder school as well.
Mitzi, the other questions that we had are a request to have these slides available, which at the conclusion of this, we will have the slides and the recording of this webinar posted on the CPE webpage that Mitzi stated. Is that the correct location, Mitzi?
Yes, it will be there. And we can also add it to the resources section on our toolkit as well.
Excellent. And then there was another question about, could the end date, is the end date negotiable due to wanting to plan programs in the summer for students? And the response on that is, with this being federal funds, CPE is required to have the money drawn down by June 30th. So
Yes.
that is a requirement on our end, that we don't have the flexibility in that way.
That is correct. Do we have any more questions? And if you don't want to drop them in the chat, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask.
Hi there, I'm Lori Davis. I have a question with regard to, do you believe that this will be an annual grant program?
At the present, I can't speak to that. We know we have money right now, and then beyond the present, we can't speculate. But that's a good question. Anyone else?
Can this be for multiple events? Or does it have to be one specific?
As long as your proposal meets your school's plan to increase post-secondary advising or access to opportunities, and you fall within the expenditure guidelines and the guidelines or the requirements of the grant, then your grant should be eligible for approval. It would be in the running for approval. Again, I can't speculate on any evaluative measures because it is a competitive grant process, but as long as it fits within your school plan and you meet those deliverables, it should be eligible for the approval process.
Lori Davis again, I have a question. The application says any K through 12 school, is that still correct?
Any public K through 12 school
Thank
or
you.
area technology center or CTC. Do we have any more questions? I don't want to prolong the webinar, and I know your time is valuable and you have things that you need to do. So, I don't want to prolong the webinar unnecessarily, but I do want to ensure that we get all questions answered. I am going to stop sharing my screen then for the moment. And if there are no further questions, then we will conclude the webinar. And, we do encourage each of you all to apply. And I see a couple more questions in the chat there. And Chastity, you certainly could use the Area Technology Center as a collaborative partner. Did I miss anything? And Laura, this webinar is recorded and it will be archived and posted on the CPE website. Okay, if there are not any additional questions, we will end the webinar. Please, my contact information is on there, and please submit your grant to me. And if you have an additional question after the fact, feel free to email me and we will get an answer for you. Good luck to everyone. Thank you for your interest. And as always, thank you for all you do to support post-secondary advising efforts in Kentucky. Our work is important and we appreciate you. And thank you all and have a great day.